Italy 2, Austria 1. It was a chess game for the vast majority of the 90 minutes. In extra time, it came alive. Inspired substitutions from Roberto Mancini. The Italians find themselves with a new national record of unbeaten games, 31. Over 1,000 minutes until they conceded their goal right at the end there. But two national records broke. A quarterfinal to come for them. And the strength in depth to be able to bring on the likes of Chiesa, who of course scored the opening goal, and what a piece of control and finish that was, emulating his father that also scored for Italy in this tournament about 30 odd years ago. An excellent performance in the end from Italy. In the end, the last 30 minutes of this game, they looked sluggish. They looked a little bit lethargic. I really felt they missed the legs and the physical energy in the middle of Locatelli early on. And Austria were unlucky at times. Austria grew into the game. They, of course, had a very narrow goal ruled out. Arnautovic puts the ball in the back of the net. That could have changed the course of this tournament for Italy, but it didn't. Italy win. They go through. And just something that Jurgen Klopp said, I think, at half-time, or it may have actually been at the end of full time, one of the two. Listen to Jurgen Klinsmann speaking, and he just said that the knockout stages of an international tournament are a new competition. Forget what happened in the group stages. This is different gravy. And I felt like the Italians were a little bit nervous. I felt like the Italians were not quite themselves, not firing on all cylinders, not the same scintillating, sharp, fresh team that we saw, of course, in the opening three group games. But I think the quality and the ability, the way they outclass Austria in extra time is going to give them that confidence. We can do it in knockout football. We can do it when we've played averagely. I would say average, really, compared to the rest of their performances so far. Barely conceding goals. Very good goal, of course, scored by Austria at the death. But another performance that, again, makes them one of the front runners for this tournament. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. They've passed another test. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Do me a big favor and smash that like button right now, people. Share this stream if you could be so kind as well. And subscribe to the Football Terrace. Comment there says average. Yes. Jamal says Italy losing in the next round. We'll see. We'll see. Listen, we have no idea how teams are going to perform yet. All I'm going to say is this. You know, for 90 minutes, Italy were off the pace, but Austria couldn't put them to bed. And then they outclassed them. Over that 30 minutes of extra time, you saw Italy rise up. And I think there's going to be some very interesting decisions for Roberto Mancini ahead of his next game. Verratti came back in tonight. I didn't think he looked fit enough. I didn't think he had the physical element of his game right on the night. Of course, technically brilliant. He made some good tackles. Barella also, I would say, a poor performance from him compared to what else we've seen from him in this tournament. Locatelli came on. Chiesa came on. And these two really improved things. They really improved things. And as soon as we saw that extra energy, that extra bite, that extra strength, it took a little bit of time for them to settle. But as soon as extra time begun, the cream rose to the top. It leveled out. And in the end, they had too much class for the very brave Austrians that put in a very good performance, who themselves will feel very, very frustrated. It just falling away at the end. Kobe here says Italy were awful. Basil says Italy are still favourites. Italy are beatable is what old school. Listen, if they perform in the opening 90 minutes to that same degree again, of course they're beatable. If they perform like that against a Belgium, against a France, against a Germany, against a Netherlands, even against England, they could be put to the sword. But they came through it. How they performed in that 90 minutes, winning a game when they didn't play well, that is the sign of a champion. And to write them off after how good they were in the group stage, after one average performance, that they still won, I think is rather premature and silly, if I do say so myself. Comment here says, I don't know about Jorginho. He was at fault for their first goal conceded at the tournament. All he had to do was stay there. I thought Jorginho did his job well tonight. I thought he did his job well tonight. I didn't think he had a bad game in the middle. I just don't think Italy looked as good without Locatelli. I think they missed that physical presence. And football, the one thing about football that has changed, I think, in the last 4 or 5 years, athleticism has become so much more important than ever. Strength and speed and the ability just to burst your lungs all night and not run out of steam. And Locatelli has that. And as soon as he came on, Italy started to improve. As soon as they brought in the quality of Chiesa, again, the levels went up again. And I think that Insigne, good player. Ballarati, good player. But I think at least 2, maybe 3 of the substitutes that came on today and changed the game deserve to start in the next round. That meritocracy is going to be very, very important indeed. Julian here said it was undeserved. Well, some people will think that. There's no doubt about it. Some people will think that it's undeserved. And that's what you're here for at the Terrace to do, to give us your views and to give us your opinions. Jarvis Cocker says Italy can win it all. They have the heart and the desire and the most even team in the Euros. New players standing out every game. And that's very, very true. They're not reliant on one individual being the standout star. And I thought they were a little nervous tonight. I thought they were a bit leggy at times. I think the mistake Roberto Mancini made was taking out one of the most informed players in the tournament in Locatelli and going for Verratti. I understand this is our main team. I think he'll learn from that mistake going into the next game and he'll be starting. There's no doubt. Maybe the plan was to actually give Locatelli, again, another rest to get Verratti some more minutes in his legs because they felt they had enough to still beat Austria. And it is a gamble. But knockout football is a gamble. Knockout football, where it's so you're not talking about a Champions League that's spread over 3 or 4 months. The knockout stages of this tournament are like 2 weeks. So you've got to, move all your pawns and move all your pieces at the right times. And they certainly did that tonight in the right way, Italy, no doubt about it whatsoever. So we're not doing a competition, as in guessing my man of the match this evening. We're doing something different, inspired by Twisted Bubba. For all the new sign-ups to the Football Terrace membership scheme tonight, all of your names, and the first one that's going to go in there is going to be my guy, Shane. Shane, straight away, your name is going into the draw. Shane Malone. Everyone who signs up to our membership scheme tonight, their name goes straight into the hat. And anybody, I wasn't going to set this, but I am going to set the bar. I was going to wait for the first one. And anyone who super chats the same amount as Baz won, of £5 or more, all right, in Baz's name, that your name also goes into the hat. I'm going to put as many names as possible into the prize draw tonight. So get your super chats in if you want to put your name in the prize draw. And if you want to become a member tonight and you fancy the perks that come with that, sign up and you will go straight into the draw to win a football shirt of your choice at the end of this month. And D1 and Ginger Fury will attest. The shirts come, they arrive in the size you want to your homes. I posted a copy of the link to become a member in our live chat feature. So get yourselves over to that and make sure that like button is being hit as well. I've posted it, and when it comes through, I will pin it. Someone here says, basically call me a clown for saying outclassed. Yeah, they did outclass them. They did outclass. In the end, they had more class because it rose to the top. They were not the better team for 90 minutes. That last 30 minutes, they rose. And there's a lot of questions to be answered there for our guy, Roberto Mancini. I'm still waiting to be able to pin the membership element to the chat because I didn't have the screen open that puts the chat through. So it's behind. There it is. It's loaded through now. So I'll be able to pin that now to the top for you. Anyone who wants to become a member, get yourself signed up right about now. But Baz1 says, Italy remind me of Brazil in 2014, playing off passion and energy. I think they will get destroyed by a top team. Their attack lacks cutting edge. Do you know what, Baz? That's the one thing I've said all tournament. The finishing touch of their attackers is off. It's the first time I've seen Italy where they don't have, in my opinion, a prolific striker. They don't have a prolific striker. Chris George here. I'm going to write down your name, my friend. Chris George, you're going into the prize draw at the end of the month as well. Let me just make a note of that name. Thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. Comment here from Alex is, in fact, Italy are better than England. They've definitely shown at this tournament they're better than England. There is no shadow of a doubt about it that they have shown that they are better than England so far at this tournament. You are absolutely spot on. Mr. Singh here, one of our members, says Italy will be interesting to watch versus Belgium or Portugal. Absolutely. And that will be the true acid test. The true acid test. Going into this tournament, the amount of people that said, nah, to Italy was huge. Everywhere you went. Nearly every preview show you listened to. No. And then all through the group stages, it was, how are they going to react to knockout football? Granted, they were nervous tonight. But once they found their sea legs, essentially, they made a few changes. They brought in players that probably should have started. They've had very good tournaments. As soon as that happened, boom, they outclassed Austria. The next test is going up against a big boy team. And then we'll truly get our answers. But I think they have the ability to do it because their defense is so good. Their team as a collective, I think, is so good. King Boy says outclassed. Listen, they beat them they beat them 2-1. They had more class than them in the end. Absolutely, they did. Terry, can you explain Jake Handball? Sorry, can you explain to Jake Handball rule, please? This is not I have no idea what you're talking about. Gavin, I don't know what that means. Otherwise, I would. Let's have a look here. Jelly Spoon has signed up and become an official member of the Football Terrace as well. Thank you very, very much, Jelly Spoon, for signing up. That means a great deal to us. Thank you very, very much indeed. How is 2-1 outclassed? Because they battered them in the extra time phase. It was fairly even between the two teams over the course of 90 minutes. They made the changes and they outclassed them in their extra time period. And the class shone through. That's what it means. One team shows more class than the other, you outclass your opponents. It's pretty much it. I want in as well. Now, Italy will be tested. Thank you very much, my friend. We'll throw you into that mix as well. Drew Devil here says, anyone writing off Italy after tonight is a fool, but they are beatable. This game proved it. Do you know what, Drew? Thank you very much. That super chat also puts your name into the prize draw at the end of the month. Do you know what's interesting with that? They are beatable, but everybody in this tournament is beatable. Everybody at some point in this tournament has shown vulnerability against a particular side. Everybody's beatable, but it's about who comes out at the end. And it's very easy to sit here and predict Italy won't win it. You could be right and say, see, I told you, but a broken clock is right twice a day in terms of the time. I think people are just dismissing that Italy can win it. That's what you're wrong. Whether Italy end up going out in the quarters, semi-finals, or losing the final, and they don't win it, you're right. But you're not just saying they can't win it. You're saying they have no chance of winning it, which I think is a completely different thing to say whatsoever. Spinazzola, yeah, he was very good again tonight. I was really impressed with him. There's no doubt about it. Very, very impressive indeed. Ronaldo will destroy Belgium and the Italian cheats. I'm not sure why the Italians are being called cheats tonight. That is a new one on me. Outclass makes it sound like they battered them. No, if they battered them, I would say they battered them or destroyed them or dismantled them or smashed them to pieces. That's what I would say. They outclassed them. Outclassing is more subtle. It's where the quality of your players shine through with better class in the end, and they did. Do you know where it really shines out? Is that when you look at Austria tonight, they had chances. They had 15 chances. They didn't have the quality. But remember, Italy had 27 attempts on goal tonight. 27 attempts on goal. They created 25 key passes. The only thing they didn't have with Immobile and with Insigne, they didn't have the class, the substitutions. Chiesa should have come on much earlier and should have started, in my opinion. He's better than Insigne. He's better than Berardi. He's better than them both. I have no idea why he's on the bench. Locatelli should have started. When the class came on, they outclassed them. They double the amount of shots. 5 chances created compared to 25. They were outclassed statistically. They were outclassed in the scoreline in the end. Were they destroyed, battered, obliterated, embarrassed? No. No one's claiming that. Outclass is the subtlety. Outclass is the difference between a nation like Austria and a nation like Italy in the end. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. We had a super chat that came through here. Selection, you're going to go into that prize draw as well, my brother. Thank you very, very much indeed. Selection, your name is down. Austria put up a good fight. Could have been 2-2 if Sabitzer didn't miss the sitter. Yes, the lack of class. This is exactly my point. Won't say they were outclassed, though. I didn't read the second part. I hear you. And do you know what it comes down to? I think it's your interpretation and my interpretation of what outclassed mean. I understand that you could interpret it as just bullied off the park, but I think for large parts of the game, they were. I think for large parts of the game, they were. It was just that finishing touch. And if Chiesa, Locatelli, these individuals would have started, I think it would have been a very different scenario. I think Italy would have scored a couple of goals in that first half, and it would have been a very, very different game. But I hear you, and that's what the football terrace is here for. Differences in opinion are very much needed. They didn't create clear-cut chances to extra time. They did create excellent chances. They created excellent chances tonight. They created really good chances, in my opinion. Gilt edge in terms of one-on-ones, maybe not. But 25 chances they created, 27 shots on goal. The difference was tonight, not enough on target. Not enough on target, right? And if you look at the shots on top, the shots they had had 6 shots on target. Okay. 4 of those 6 shots on target came in the extra time when they brought the class players on. I'm saying to you, I know what I'm saying here. Anyway, we'll move on from that. We'll agree to disagree, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a little look at what's being said here. We've got some more super chats that have come through, some big ones here. Put some respect on Chiesa's name. I think Italy have more team cohesion like Hungary than so-called big teams like France and Portugal, and that's why they can go all the way. Ronaldo, thank you very much for your super chat. Because it's 10, I'm going to put your name in the hat twice, my brother, because you put 10 in. You're going to get 2 entries into the competition for that, my friend. We've got another super chat here. This is from Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. You've done £15. So, Mark, you're going into the draw 3 times. I'm going to honor that, my brother. And it says here, fair play to Austria. Impress me. Football is evolving. Teams used to get thrashed. Not anymore. Probably outclassed is the wrong word. Everyone thought it would be a walk in the park. Okay, what word should I use then? What word would you use? I'm up for this being a bit more of a democracy here. So what word would you use? What word would you use for having double the shots, 5 times as many chances created, 5 times, 25-5, double the amount of shots on target and scoring the goals? Like, what word would you use? I'd love to know what word you'd like me to use for that. Sneaked past, scraped past, scraped. Come on. Austria had 3 shots on target in the whole game. In fairness, 2 of them were in extra time as well, please. Outplayed, outmuscled, sneaked past. Lucky. Come on, lucky. What are we saying here? Edged it. Okay. Not outplayed. Outplayed is actually more accurate, I'd probably say, than my own version. Austria were the better team in the 90 minutes. I don't know about that. They knocked a few good balls into the box. Destroyed. No, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. I'm going to change it to Italy dump Austria out. That way we're not talking about the style of play, because we're wasting a lot of time and energy talking about it. But that's the interpretation of football, I suppose. But we're not saying destroyed. Not saying destroyed. Bullied. Oh, that's funny. Bested. that even a word? Is that a word you could use to describe something like that? Chiesa is the boss. Chiesa was great. Terry knows he's lying. That's why he's going on about outclassed. Not really. I gave you my rationale. I've changed it, though, because the masses didn't agree. So I've listened. You've changed my mind. I still stand by. You haven't changed my mind about how I think it went. Just change the title for you all. There we go. Next up, we're going to have Conroy come on now and have his say with us. What you saying, Bo?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Everyone all right?
Yeah. All good, mate. All good. What did you make of Italy's performance tonight?
Got to be honest, mate, I've been a big fan of Italy, but I know, listen, this is why we get VAR in, but it's like, if VAR's not there, it's not a great line. If Arnautovic is just 1 yard, Italy are out, because there's no way they're scoring that second half. Don't get me wrong, I agree, but I just feel like Austria didn't sit with men behind the ball. I thought they played them. I thought the Austria coach, it's easy to say now because he brought Pessina and Chiesa on, but I thought tactically got the spot on in the first half. Austria didn't sit back. I thought they were brave, but they kind of took the sting out of the game sometimes. I wanted to ask you, Terry, do you think other teams like Belgium and Portugal watch that and they'll have a blueprint how we beat Italy? Did you think Italy looked a bit gassed at 65 minutes, or do you think that was just tactically to control the game? Because I thought they looked a bit tired.
I think what it is, it's perspective. Because of how good they were in the first 3 games, I think we expected that same level of performance and the way they've smashed teams so far. They did everything the same in tonight's game, in my opinion. They didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And yes, like Austria grew into the game. And that's what happens, though. We've seen this will happen every weekend in league football, where the better team in terms of the play doesn't take early opportunities and chances, and the longer the game goes on, the more a team grows into it. And yeah, VAR saved them tonight in that regard. I think what's really interesting is, of course, the lines are being made thicker now. So yes, he was only marginally offside, but that's on a thicker line. If we were using the thin Premier League lines, we would have said, "Oh, look, he's off by about 6 inches or whatever."
You know, it was a good call. Like, it's one of them. It's like he's offside. It's not a debate. I just thought it was nearly like a tactical masterclass by their manager if they got that 1-0 win. But that's why we want VAR, because I'm fed up of seeing teams like Italy, like when the World Cup, Totti dives in the last minute and gets a penalty against Australia. You don't want teams to win when they don't deserve it. But I think, yeah, I agree, mate. I'm very excited for the next round game, though, because I feel like it's going to be very interesting to see how either Portugal or Belgium approach it. I feel like Belgium can beat Italy. That's my feeling towards it. But they need...
Belgium can definitely beat Italy. Of course they are. I think for me with Italy, it's a case of they just weren't quite as good tonight. And I think that's because Mancini got his selection wrong. I think Chiesa should have started, and I definitely think Locatelli should have started. If those guys begun the game, I truly believe they score those goals sooner rather than later. And of course, they were unlucky not to score. There was a really good save from a shot, and I forget who had the shot, if I'm being absolutely honest. It was fairly early on in the game. I can't remember who it was. I'm just looking now for the shot. It was the first shot on target. It's a really good save, but by the Austrian keeper. I want to say
backman. It's Berardi. I think he half volley.
Yeah, that shot. That was a really good save. I thought that was 1-0. There was the Immobile shot. That was nearly 2-0. Now, they're the 2 big opportunities in the first half to stand out, but there were loads of other times where they broke the line. Verratti a few times bursting into the box, and the cutback just wasn't quite right. For me watching, I didn't see a great deal. And then what happened is they become a little bit leggy. They become a little bit tired. And then the nerves kicked in because it's knockout football. And Austria, that were on what I call hiding to nothing because they weren't expected to win, they grew and just become a little bit bolshier. And you saw the mental element of the game come in, and that leveled it out for a bit. As soon as those changes were made, you started to see Italy take back over. And when the second half of extra time begun, I just thought there was a step change, and you saw the Italy in extra time for that 30 minutes that I think we've seen for the majority of this tournament. And they probably should have scored a couple more times. There's a few breakaway opportunities.
Yeah, the decision making's not great, Terry. They're wasteful in a lot of cases. Insigne would do my head in. Chiesa's much more effective. I think you just said that. And he plays the wrong choice all the time, and it's always like he tries to dink the keeper. It's very frustrating if you're an Italian fan. I feel like you're right, mate. I feel the first half they could have been 2-0 up.
He tried that curler. He's tried cutting it on his right foot and pulling it into the far right top corner about 10 times in his tournament.
Honestly, mate, he did. And it's like, it's never working. It's once in a blue moon. Stop trying it.
I completely agree. I've got a few super chats here I've got to do. First up, Adrian Sheikh says, for Verratti was the reason that Italy struggled. He was very poor. Jorginho Spinazzola looked class to me. And if Locatelli marked his man, they wouldn't have conceded. Yeah, I kind of get that. Adrian, I'm going to put your name into the prize draw list. Remember, if you become an official member tonight, or if you put a super chat in of over £5, your name is going to go into a prize draw to win a football shirt of your choice at the end of the month. A man like Mark here has done another £10 super chat. It means he's going to get 2 more entries. It means he's going to have his name in the hat 5 times now. 5 times his name is going to be in the hat. Says, can I just say I've enjoyed every other match review in this tournament. More detail, less teams and banter. And this to me is really good progression of your channel, man. Big up. You've taken it to a new level. Thank you, Mark. And listen, as I say, we've got a lot of plans coming for the Terrace next year. The match reaction shows will be lots like this, still digital. But we've got some plans for match reaction shows as well as a brand new Friday night show on the Terrace. Watch alongs like nobody else is doing. And you, the viewers, are going to be massively involved in a lot of it, especially our first team members and our legend and super fan members. We are going to be prioritizing you. This isn't about famous YouTubers or this or that. It's about putting you at the front and center, the fans of football, the fans of the Football Terrace. So a massive thank you to each and every single one of you that has done that. Conroy, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. I'll speak to you again soon. All the best, mate. Take care. Thank you. Going to get a gal on in a minute to have his say with us here, but make sure you're smashing that like button for me, please, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very important to the Terrace. Gal's here now. Give me your thoughts. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. You?
I was just watching that game, and that's the cannot quit attitude. Like, can't die, can't quit, whatever you want to say. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Part of me feels hard done for Austria. They tried their best. They worked so hard. They when they got the goal, I thought, you know what, 1-0 Austria, Italy's going to be in trouble now. But then when I seen it, it was clearly offside. No one can debate that. Chiesa came in and he's given Berardi a run for his money on that right-hand flank. Berardi got 2 assists in tournament so far, hasn't contributed to a goal. Hasn't scored a goal himself. And then Chiesa does what he did today as a substitute. It just goes to show you the quality they have off the bench. And Immobile impressed me, but the person who impressed me the most today was the left back. Once again, Spinazzola is basically making that whole flank his. He's almost like a left winger as playing left back, and that whole left flank is left to him to do all the creativity from that side, all the link-up play from that side. Every time he takes a touch, you see him just trying to bust his gut to get ahead of Insigne, and that right there was the key to all their attacks. And it wasn't surprising that his pass was the one that created the chance for the open goal. And amazing close control by Chiesa to bring it down with one more extra touch and the composure that he had to finish that chance. You know what, Italy today, this was a blip. Against France is going to be the real test. We'll see if and when France advance, that's when the real test is going to be. And we'll see if they can keep it up, because, hey, if Austria can give them trouble, you've seen how the Twitter timeline was going crazy, how everyone was going crazy at halftime, that it was a draw, full time it was a draw. People even going as far as making fun of Italy, calling them frauds because they couldn't beat Austria over 90 minutes. Let's be real. This is a European competition. It's a knockout competition. Each game is completely different. It doesn't matter how you perform today. If you show up against France or Switzerland, we know it's going to be France, but you know what I mean? It could be a completely different ballgame.
Listen, people, I saw a lot of that on socials, because I think to Mark's super chat a few moments ago, for me, it's not about the banter in this because it's not that kind of, it's not like a club thing. Italy have been sensational in this tournament. And do you know what? They were brilliant in the first half. I thought they were very good in the first half today. And I thought they were brilliant in extra time. They had a 45, 50-minute period where they were a little bit out of sorts.
Oh,
that's also far in this tournament. And people are so desperate to write them off. It's a madness to me. It's a legitimate madness. It's they're rubbish. They're finished. They're no good. There's a comment here that says I'd say Austria were outmanned, but managed to get Italy to look quite ragged at times, especially in the second half. Totally agree. Best game of the tournament so far. And absolutely, it is also knockout football. And we've seen better teams. It's like no one thinks Lyon at no point in the last 4 to 5 years have been better than Man City. But they beat them in a one-off game in the Champions League. And as we say, there's been lots of people in the comments that have been... People do this now. You know, it's like me and you are heavily involved in social media and football. You'll get a person, someone like Mo, #2 in the comment section, and he'll say, Italy ain't winning this. They're overrated. And he'll say no matter how good they are, he'll just say they're overrated or it's some excuse. And in the one moment they have an average performance, that's his confirmation bias to say, see, I told you. We've had the same thing with Bruno Fernandes. He scores 140, has 144 goal contributions in the last 3 seasons. No midfielder in the world has as many as him. Even if you take away penalties, he still has more than anybody else. He has a bad 2 months and people say, see, told you he wasn't very good. It's a bit like this. Imagine something. Igal's a really bad person. Oh, why? What's he done? I'll give you an example. Igal's a really bad person. Why? Oh, it just is. Trust me. You'll find out one day. Igal gives to charity. One second. Igal gives to charity. It's hypothetical. Igal gives to charity. He treats his wife like a princess. He's great to his friends. He's honest. He's all these things you would want a man to be. 3 years down the line, turns out he's got a parking ticket because he parked on a yellow line. And that person's like, see, I told you he was evil. That's how I see football analysis from some people. It's like they say really bad things about certain players or certain teams, and they wait for one little example to prove they're right. And it's like, no, you would need Italy to like lose a game and then not qualify for the World Cup and then not qualify for the next Euros just for you to be right. One average performance for 45 minutes doesn't make you right. It's crazy to me. And
I say one thing about Jorginho, because people are getting at me, Terry. Jorginho did not get substituted in this game. He absolutely did not do anything wrong. He was one of the main guys who you could say was a man of the match candidate. But in my opinion, other players played better. I'm not downplaying Jorginho. He was absolutely amazing today. Don't get me wrong. I was paying close attention to him because, of course, you know me. I'm going to come back and be like, hey, haha, I was right. But no, I was wrong. Jorginho did amazing. And you know what? Verratti had to get subbed off. And what do you call it? Not only did Verratti have to get subbed off, both of Jorginho's midfield partners got subbed off. He's the one guy who stood there and kept everything together, kept everything ticking. And you know what? I'm not gonna fault him. He played really well today. So no one can say, hey, I have an agenda. I'm dead serious. He played really well, and I'm gonna give him his credit because he was not average today. You cannot say he was average. He was one of the best players on the pitch, even though they did not score until the second part of the game when it was extra time.
Yeah, but he did his bit right. As I say, when I look at the game back, and I was watching it the whole time, I felt like Italy were going to score. It was just that final pass from their attacking men. It was Jorginho did his job well. As soon as Chiesa, as soon as Locatelli, these guys were on the pitch and they just found their feet and they caught up with the pace of the game, it was over. It was over from that point. It really was. And I think if Mancini makes those substitutions earlier, or if he starts the game with those players, it would have been a very, very different game. They would have outclassed them from start to finish. Jarvis Cocker here with a super chat says, I can't understand why people underestimate Italy just because they don't play in the a lot of their players don't play in the Prem. They have talented players with passion and spirit. Spinazzola, Locatelli, Insigne, Barella, and Immobile. They've got very, very good players from front to back. There is no doubt about it. Jarvis, we're going to put your name into the prize draw because you've super chatted over £5 tonight. So thank you very, very much for doing that. If you get a super pounds or over, or if you sign up and become an official member of the Football Terrace tonight, your name will go into the prize draw to win a Premier League shirt of your choice. It's a little competition if you want to be involved.
I want to correct something.
We did have another super chat that came through. It says, out of context, Canavenga to United, check Twitter. I'll have a little look later, my friend, but thank you very, very much for that update. In terms of Italy winning this tournament, though, Egal, has tonight changed your mind in either direction at all about that?
It's going to be tough for them because they have to get through the winner of Portugal and Belgium, and then they're going to face France in the semifinals. Yeah, I think so. I forget.
Yes, it would be semifinals. Yeah.
Yeah, I always mix up what it's called. So yeah, in the semifinals they'll face France, and then in the finals they'll have to face whoever comes out of the other side of the bracket. So it's gonna take a long time. We have to see how they perform against top opposition. Today they performed not so well against Austria in the 90 minutes. They did put them to the sword at the end. The jury's still out because as much as you can see the run that they're on, that is impressive. But at the same time, who have they actually played? We have to see how they do against the top teams because Portugal has played France and Germany already. France has played Portugal and Germany. Belgium haven't really been tested. So the teams that haven't been tested, the jury's still out for them, in my opinion.
It's true. But then we've also seen France and Portugal and Germany all struggle against Hungary. So actually, all three of those teams, in my opinion, barring Germany, Portugal, they've done worse against Hungary than they did against, like, Germany. France was a closer game. I felt Germany played better in that than they did against Hungary. So it's all teams have shown vulnerabilities at this tournament. France is still the favourites to me, but I'm still putting Italy as my second favourites. I think it'll be them two in the semi-finals with one another, and then we'll see what happens from there. Igal, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate that, bro. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Zion is back with us. What you saying, Zion?
First of all, Terry, let me just say that let's appreciate the fans in the stadium. You know, let's appreciate that we've got fans in this tournament. So, yeah, man, it was a great game to watch. 490 minutes and, extra time as well. So, Italy, like I said, man, they're a team. They're a team with spirit. They're a team with, with unity. And, it showed tonight, I mean, if they hadn't missed their chances, they could have beaten Austria by more than, 2 goals. So, they're a good team, and you know what? I'll be very looking forward to whoever they face. Either it will be Portugal or Belgium, because I think they'll probably get past them because that Italian team is way different to the Italy teams I've seen. Especially from that World Cup back in 2018. So this is good signs for the nation. So I'm looking forward to their next match.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how Italy bounce back. And do you know what? You might find, maybe they come up against a team that's a little bit more open. And I think the way they attack against Belgium, is there going to be more space for them to run into? The Belgium backline hasn't really been tested yet. I think so. It's intriguing. I'm just excited about it. And I'm not kind of buying into this, I'm going to write this team off and write that team off. Every major team left in this tournament, Italy, France, England, Germany, the Netherlands, and I'm probably going to miss one, Belgium, they all have a legitimate shot of winning this trophy because they've all shown vulnerability. And the one thing people are writing off tonight in relation to Italy is they won a game that everybody's telling me they didn't play particularly well in. I just think they weren't that clinical edge from some of their attackers. When they brought the better attackers on, game changed. Listen, Zion, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you. Still one of my favorites to win is what Hermit Mod says over on our Twitch account. Remember, when you're done watching here, go to our description below and go and sign up and follow our Twitch account. It'd mean a great deal to us if you could do that. It legitimately would. It would. So go and make sure you go and get that done, please, people, when you get a moment. What we on there over there now? Like 234 followers. I'm quite happy with that because I haven't even really spent any time over there yet. But thank you. Someone here says search the definition of outclass on Google, Terry. Okay, let me search it. I'm going to Google it then. Let me search it on Google. Outclassed means surpass, outshine, overshadow, eclipse, outplay. They did outplay them. Outstrip, outrun, outpace, outthink. Getting the better of it means dwarfed. Okay, upstage, transcend, top, cap, trump, left behind, outranked, So, yeah, I would say outclass is pretty fair word. More shots, more attempts, 5 times as many chances, more goals. I mean, that's what it means. Oh, I don't know. Michael here of a super chat says, "Hi, Terry. Love your all-female cast show. Please not that awful Liverpool show." Yeah, Kendall should be back with her show at some point soon. She's not been very well the last couple of weeks, and she hasn't been doing it. That will be returning, there's no doubt. Michael, thank you for that super chat. Going to be putting your name, Michael Ramsey, into the prize draw as well. So massive thank you. Next on the show, Gunnar Express is here. What are you saying, buddy?
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying it was a very boring game. And I definitely agree that the first 90 was definitely boring. Obviously, I think Austria defended really well. Obviously, the stats will go heavily in favour of Italy, but you have got to credit Austria and how well they did defend. Again, yes. Italy came close. There was that chance from Immobile that hit the bar. But obviously, if you can't score goals, you can't score goals. You could be dominated the whole game, but if you can nick one goal and win it 1-0, you know, you're the better team in a sense because you win. But Austria, unfortunately, didn't obviously do that. They got the goal. It was definitely offside. But the VAR, again, it's the British referees for me. It's not the actual VAR itself. It's the British referees and officials that are using this stuff because it's been perfect pretty much the whole tournament. And the minute that British referees are called in to use VAR in a way that they were told to use it, it took ages and everybody's complaining about it. So for me, again, the FA or whoever's in charge, whether it's the Premier League, whoever, they need to sack these referees and try and find new ones, probably international referees, if anything, because international referees just seem to be better. But yeah, Italy, they deserved the win, don't get me wrong. They did dominate statistically all the way through throughout the match. But again, I agree with a lot of people. Mancini needs to be credited for what he's done. But today, certain things he did I thought were very stupid. Not starting Locatelli, I'd have probably started him over Barella, but when you look at the game in hindsight, Verratti was pretty awful. Chiesa should have started. I don't get why Berardi is so hyped up by Mancini. I really don't see why he's starting that many games. I think Chiesa's better every single time he comes on the pitch. And again, Insigne, someone that I thought would be getting lots of goals and doing a lot this tournament, just did nothing again. Barely did anything. And the minute he comes off the pitch, they look better. So I think Mancini, I think his issue right now is he has so much talent, he's struggling to pick who's the best for that match. And I think he needs to take a massive look at himself and obviously the players that he has and choose the right lineup because he's got some difficult games coming up. He could be playing France or someone like that very soon. So you can't have these tactical, mess ups essentially in a game such as a France because they will just get dominated.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's tonight. The difference was the reason that Italy didn't batter Austria is because I think there was 2 or 3 personnel issues. So the system worked perfectly because the openings, but that's why statistically it'll be there. You'll see that tomorrow morning when it gets released, you'll probably see something like they averaged 15, 20 more positional attacks. There was more approach play. There was more through balls. There was more, even now, I don't know. I haven't even looked at all these things, but the everything is in their favor. But it was that clinical edge from 1 or 2 people at the end. And I won't judge a whole team's performance based on. It's a bit like this. Let's just say, I don't know, you Arsenal play Spurs and you're dominating statistically, but you have 3 or 4 amazing chances and Lacazette misses all those chances. You still outplayed Spurs. It's just one player hasn't been clinical enough to put them to the sword. And I don't think, do you get where I'm coming from? If, for instance, you have all the ball, but you're not creating chances, you don't get those clear-cut opportunities, and they smash and grab it, I think that's a little bit different.
A great example, real quick.
That's an interpretation thing. Go on, mate.
A great example, I think we all remember this match, especially if you're a Man United or Arsenal fan, the game at the Emirates a few seasons ago, where we had over 30 shots, I think it was, but David De Gea just turned into Spider-Man and just saved every single one. And you guys nicked the win, I think it was 2-1. And that's a perfect example. We dominated the game, had well over 30 shots. We probably should have won, and we would have won any other day. David De Gea just performed brilliantly and didn't let us win. And then obviously you guys got the 2 goals and won the match. So I think that it's not similar to today because the team that were dominant obviously did win. But I agree. I don't get why so many people are quite upset with the title being outclassed, whatever it was, because I do get what obviously you're trying to come at, in the sense that
again, everyone's entitled to an opinion.
yeah, of course.
It doesn't overtly bother me. I think it's just one of those things where I feel like
it's the perception of, and the way that each person uses the word. It's like world class. Some people throw it around all the time.
So
some people
I have my interpretation. Sometimes I didn't watch Italy tonight and think they didn't look like they were going to score. Majority of the time, I felt like they were going to. That's just how the feeling I had watching the game. I always thought they had it in the bag. I had no point in the game did I think smash and grab. I was like, Italy gonna, even that last free kick they had in the last minute, went, oh, they're gonna score now. They're gonna score now. They're gonna do it. But listen, they're through. They're through to the next round, and the next two games now are going to be the next game for them is either Belgium or Portugal. So their next game is going to be that acid test that everybody's desperate to see them in. I think they've got a great chance of winning that, but who knows? It's knockout football. Listen, thanks very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Mr. Bond is here. How you doing, 007?
I'm good, man. Very good, thanks. If you tolerate me a bit of dissent, I'm here to pour some cold water on Italy. It's not really this game. The very first game they played against Turkey, I had issues with Italy. And after that game, I said to myself, well, the midfield looks like if they played a good team, they will bypass that midfield. And secondly, I didn't think any of the forwards were really, truly clinical in that game. And I felt like these were issues that would come back to bite them in a strong, solid game. I didn't think Austria was going to be that team to put up some sort of resistance, but it showed up today. The stretches in the second half, and I watched this game without sound, by the way, just to kind of just see what was going on in the game, unbiased. And it looked like the midfield was just bypassed. And I feel like if Austria had better players, because I think at the end of the day, obviously Mancini is a superior manager, but then they had better options coming off the bench. I mean, no offense here, but if Arnautovic is starting, then that kind of tells you what sort of bench they have. And it just felt like when it turned into a gunfight, just bring out your best, I bring out my best. And Italy just kind of overran them at the end of the day. That's kind of how I saw it. And I still feel like the Italian midfield is not configured properly. You look at France's midfield, for example, it looks like it's balanced. You have the offensive threat, you have the defensive solidity there. But with Italy, it just feels a bit light. We all know Jorginho, we know how he is. We know Verratti, we know how he is. It just feels, it looks like something that will be bypassed by better teams. And look, Lukaku is not Sabitzer, right? They're better strikers in this tournament, and they will punish you. And I just feel like when we'll find out about Italy when they play against better teams, but I feel like this game was a real eye opener. I've seen this from the first game, and I think it's still going to rear its head. It's not something that's going away. That's my opinion.
Mr. Bond, great points being raised there, my friend. And we'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you very much for calling, buddy. Really appreciate that, my guy. Thank you. Raven here, we put your name into the prize drawer as well. He says you expected a battering owing to the easy groups. Put Italy and Belgium into Group F, and they do not make it out. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. It's one that we will never know the answer to. It's whether you believe in it or not. It's an interpretation thing. But thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. Terry had it right initially, and that's what this game is good for them. Mancini had it wrong, and it will be corrected going forward. I agree. Okay, I'll try to read some of these comments out. KDB will school Penaldo tomorrow, is what Blue Viper says. Yeah, that's the big game tomorrow. What's the other game tomorrow? I feel like today was like a warm-up day for like the real. I think the next 2 days. Oh yes, you got the Netherlands, Czech Republic. That's a big game, and then Belgium, Portugal, and then Monday you got Croatia, Spain, France versus Switzerland, and then of course Germany, England on Tuesday. It's going to be an amazing 4 days of football. We're going to be live after every single knockout game for the remainder of the tournament. We're going to be live straight after to give you the chance to have your say on it. Do me a big favor and smash that like button, please, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the share button as well. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Thank you to everyone that put the super chats in tonight and all our new members. Your names will go into the June prize draw to win a football shirt of your choice. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all